I'm Daftjack,
And I'm Ragingdevils.
and today we are going to look at this warrior tree. Um, we're going to look at the talents. We're going to talk about them a little bit. But before we do that, I'm going to talk about my experience with a warrior, which is almost none. I did tank Molten Core when they did Classic, the relaunch thing. Uh, I did not play a warrior until, oh man, maybe Cataclysm. So like that was my only experience with the talent trees. Devil though is far more familiar with the warrior than I am.
Yeah, my warrior compared to the mage is like second to none. Like my warrior is my second character I started to play as a main because I have a caster main and a melee main, and my warrior is always the second person I play.
Alrighty. Um,
Uh, no, whatever. I was
Literally,
playing,
I've seen Devil play every
and that's
spec
where my YouTube name came from.
and every race. Man. Anyway, let's take a look at this. So off the bat, we have Battle Stance. Instant 3-second cooldown. Uh, TWB/WIP. Dash. A balanced combat state that increases the critical strike chance of your ability by 3% and reduces the effectiveness of movement pairing effects on you by 15%. And looking at the other two icons, we're getting stances back, which is exciting. How do
Yep.
you feel about stances, Devil? Let's just get this
There,
out of the way
I
now.
actually I do like the stances for sure. They definitely help out a lot based on what scenario you're facing. And they did say in previous comments when they were doing like data mining and stuff that there will be no stance dancing, but you will be able to have stances based on what, like I said, you're fighting. So, but they are a lot different than how they were,
Yeah,
except for defensive stance.
I'm interested to see the stances back. Um, it's a shame we're not going to have stance dancing though.
Yeah.
But so let's move on and read the other two. We have defensive stance, a defensive stance that reduces all damage you take by 20% and all damage you deal by 10%. Lasts until canceled. And then we have berserker stance, an aggressive combat stance that increases the damage of your auto dash attacks by 5% and reduces the effectiveness of fear, sap, and incapacitate effects on you by 15%. I do remember this used to break fear, right? I know it didn't
Um,
classic.
there was one expect, but I can't remember what it was, or maybe one patch, but I don't remember what it was.
If memory serves me right, you could just pop this stance and break your fears. Or pop this
I
stance
think
just
maybe it was a
before you break your fears.
I think it was a talented effect that temporarily reduced the fear effect when you first went into Berserker stance.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But yeah, I didn't remember.
I do remember. I mean, I played an undead warrior, so like fears weren't a thing I dealt with this way.
Yep, Undead
Because of
was
the
the first one.
debuff. I primarily used Will of the Forsaken.
Yep.
All right, so we're gonna go over here back to the battle stance, or rather, armsy side of the tree, and
To
let's
the
see
left
if
tree.
it feels all armsy going down here. It's kind of thin, so we'll get to the prop pretty quick.
Okay.
Fast footwork, movement speed increase by 5%, and then we have yeah, we'll go down to double time. Increase the maximum number of charges on charge by 1, and reduce its cooldown by 3 seconds. Very nice. Because, like, charge, like, I like this movement speed being here super early, because warriors feel really slow
And so
early.
now all warriors, even protection warriors, get double charge. So
Yeah, now everybody's got access to the double charge, which is really good.
yeah,
And solves a problem that they had against paladins as far as the tanks go, with the movement speed and current.
yeah,
Although I'm not sure what the meta looks like. I haven't played in the last season.
yeah.
Horned reflexes, and I mean leap help too, but horned reflexes. Honed reflexes. Cooldown of pummel, shield slam overpowered, and bloodthirst reduced by 1.5 seconds. Then you get to pick massacre. Execute is now usable on targets of below 35% health, up from, I believe, 20.
Yeah, it was 20.
Yeah, okay.
Now it's 35. It's still 20, so yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Then you have a choose one. You get Rend or Pain and Gain. Rend? Wow. It's a talent. Rend. 30 rage. Oh, it costs rage now, too. Instant cast. Oh, no, I think it cost rage before. Wounds the target, causing 32.1% attack power physical, instant, and additional 133% attack power bleed damage over 5 seconds. Or you can get, over 15 seconds. Or you can get pain and gain. When you take any damage, heal for 5% or 4.50% of maximum health. This can only occur once every 10 seconds.
I got that one.
I think we'll pick that passive.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, Red wasn't strong, but we'll see later on
yeah,
how
what
these other
Rend
talents.
wasn't strong. If this Rend is stronger, that might be
Yeah.
an option. But that heal is really good.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of it reminds me of the Colteran passive.
Yeah.
I think it's called Brush It Off. Armor to the
No.
teeth. You gain strength equal to 10% of your armor value. I'm not sure I like where this talent is. And I feel kind of aggravated saying that again. This in the tree. For the base tree, like, I mean, and it's not even a split talent, so.
Well,
Are they
people
trying to
wouldn't.
keep, I mean, based on defensive stances, reduce damage. Are they trying to keep the damage away from Prot? We'll have to see.
Well, I mean, Prot is in the middle, so we'll see.
Yeah, like, I kind of felt that way with the Prot Paladin tree. That they're going for a slightly reduced damaged version of tanking.
And Pro Warriors do have a different scenario. They're more based on DPS, anyways.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm totally a big fan of, like, not making tanks feel like they have to pump out numbers. But we'll see where this goes. This might just be a DPS boost for shits and giggles, but we'll see. Underneath that, we have Die by the Sword, a defensive cooldown. Instant 2-minute cooldown. Increase your parry chance by 100% and reduce all damage taken. taken by reduce all damage taken by 30% for 8 seconds. So that's interesting that that's here. I mean, but
that was
is Die by the Arms historically been arms? Because I've only ever leveled a warrior's prot.
it was it was arms only.
Okay, so that does make
And
sense there.
yeah, and I think it was before it was a baseline, and it was later on an honor talent.
For sure.
Yeah.
We got Cruel Strikes. Increase the good old crit chance by 2%. A two-handed weapon specialization. Whoo! Increase your damage dealt when using a single two-handed weapon by 5%.
Yeah, it just says about 5, but yeah, I think it's 5%.
What is? I wonder what this WIP allows dual wield.
Oh, they what do you call it? They responded to that too. That does nothing. People always assume that it allowed the dual wielding for every spec. It does not.
Oh, okay.
So that's just there for some damn reason.
Spear of Bastion. 25-yard range. Instant. 1 minute cooldown. Throw a spear at the target location, dealing 110% attack power physical damage instantly, and an additional 120% of attack power damage over 4 seconds. Deals reduced damage beyond 5 targets. Enemies hit or chained to the spear's location for the duration. Generates 25 rage. That's pretty dope.
Yep.
That's that spear thingy they throw at me.
Yep.
I don't like that thing. It's so interesting because this is like the first time I've ever read all of the class changes before an expansion, and like I'm over here like, so that's the thing. All right, and then the capstone talent for this part of the tree is a choose one. We have Elysian Might. Spear of Bastion's duration is increased by 4 seconds. While you remain within Spear of Bastion's area, your critical strike is increased by a whole fucking 25%. Boy, oh, that's happy time.
Critical strike damage, yeah.
Yeah. Piercing Verdict. Spear of Bastion's instant damage and rage generation are increased by 30%. So, Mr. Warrior, which one you gonna pick?
Well, if it was me, because I like doing heavy damage in the beginning, I usually went with Verdict before, but if people don't really want to negate the spear's root, then I would choose the other one. But since if there's a way to negate the root in Dragonflight, then I would go with still piercing Verdict.
Okay, so currently in the current build of the game, Elysian's Might removes the
Yeah, you can
the
cloak of
CC.
shadows out of yeah, you can cloak of shadows out of Elysian's Might. You can divine shield out of it and stuff like that.
Okay, but you can't under normal circumstances.
Yeah, anything that's a root breaker that can get out of it because it's considered a root.
Anyway, I'm actually a pretty big fan of these capstone choose talents that affect the talent directly before them.
But otherwise, yeah, Elysian's Might will be stronger considering the critical strike damage boost for 8 seconds now.
Yeah. That is 25% for 8 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as a melee DPS, That sounds juicy. Because it's an aura, and if you're on a boss, that is solid buff time. On a minute cooldown?
You just gotta make sure you're in your spear area of
So you've
effect,
got
which is
like,
only,
you've got a
it's
20.
only a small area, but yeah.
Yeah.
You got the spear of Vashion's within the. I think it's only a small area when you put your spear down, so you gotta make sure you're in that small area when you're hitting targets.
Yeah.
Because you gotta remain in the route too.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Okay. Moving on to the defensive stance, which I already read, so we're gonna go directly to Rallying Cry. Not the dragons. 3-minute cooldown. Let loose a Rallying Cry, granting all party and raid members within 40 yards 15% temporary maximum health for 10 seconds. That's a solid defensive buff.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't
And
it of
that's
the
pretty much.
Dragon Slayer?
Huh?
Didn't you guys get a Rallying Cry of the Dragon Slayer?
No, that was a buff for all of Ogamar and Duraton.
Oh, that's what that was. Yes, this is. That's why I was
That
just
was
like Rallying Cry of the Dragon Slayer.
yeah, that was for killing the general.
All right, so on the other side we got Berserker's Rage. Go Berserk, or 1-minute cooldown. Go Berserk, removing and granting immunity to fierce sap incapacitate effects for 6 seconds. Solid.
Yep.
So we got a defensive cooldown on one side, and we got a CC break on the other. In the middle, we get a choose one between intervene and second wind. Intervene, run at high speeds towards or 30-second cooldown, run at high speeds toward an ally, intercepting all melee and ranged attacks against them for 8 seconds while they are within 10 yards. Or remain within 10 yards. And then second wind, restore 6% health every 1 second when you have not taken damage for 5 seconds. I don't feel this is a good choice.
That's a good choice for me.
I mean, like, in PvP, I see this as a good choice. But in, like, a raid setting or a solo setting, second wind is going to probably win most of the time. I mean, intervene's pretty strong when you're not tanking, but second wind's really strong all the time.
Intervene should be separated from second wind and put it into like a
Oh, no,
put it in
wait.
choice with double time.
Second wind is when you've not taken damage.
Yeah, double time and intervene should be a choice talent together, if anything.
Nah. With second wind only being when you've not taken damage for 5 seconds, it's really a good choice for an off tank.
Well, that or the one talent below it.
Well, like
that we're about to go to.
Yeah, no, I mean, but like this choice here is really targeted towards like an off tank or someone that needs to soak some damage for something.
Yeah.
Not sustain damage like I initially thought versus burst.
Well, I mean, the choice is one is to protect yourself and one is to protect your ally. So you choose one or the other based on the fight.
I'll take it back. It's a pretty decent choice.
So that's why I say either way, second wind will be your main choice, and then intervene for when you're double tanking.
This is why we're first impressioning videos.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for second impression and build guides.
Yeah, when they improve the guides again or the trees again.
Well, yeah, we gotta wait for them to fix that before we invest in building guide videos.
Yeah. For the actual beta builds. So yeah.
So we got under Rallying Cry, we have Inspiring Presence. Rallying Cry's duration and health granted are increased by 25%. We have Spell Reflection. Instant 25-second recharge, 1 charge. Reduced magical damage you take by 20% for 5 seconds. Also raises your shield, reflex, or weapon, depending on spec. I'm glad they fixed that.
Yeah.
Reflects the first spell that you cast, the first spell cast on you. I wonder if Arms and Fury are actually going to get a new animation, or do they still pull the shield out when you use this, or do they just take it away from them? I don't remember.
Well, before it just showed a shield icon on the top like a buff.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think they did pull the weapon out before, I thought.
No, I'm pretty sure they pull out like a super generic shield.
Huh.
But I can't remember.
Who knows, but we'll see.
Or maybe they don't, and that's why everybody complains. I don't know.
I'll see in the current WoW and see what they do.
The only time I've ever used, I don't know if I've ever used Spell Reflect. If I did, it was just a buff.
Yeah, I can see in the current WoW and see what they pulled out, but yeah.
All right, and then we have Berserker's Shout, 1 minute cooldown, instant. Go Berserk! Removing and granting immunity to Fear Sap Incapacitate for effects for 6 seconds.
I'll describe that one.
This is the party one.
That same effect, Go Berserk, removing all, same thing, and it now affects party members within 15 yards for the same amount of duration.
Yeah, because it's the shout. I gotcha.
Yeah, if they implemented that in the thing too.
Oh, man. We're this far into the tree and we have 2 shouts. Yodel Warriors incoming.
So now so now I can affect party members to be immune to fear. Aha.
That is really cool. I like these party member effects, like with the rogue tree and my ability to give my restless blades to party and raid members. Like, it's a really powerful talent and makes up for me not doing as much DPS as an outlaw. Thank you. But this is real cool. I'm gonna love this in PvP with you.
Yeah, I'll raise my weapon. I just use Spell Reflect quick.
All right, next we have Stormbolt or Titanic Throw. I feel like this should be closer to the tree, or at least attached. And I was gonna wait till.
I think it cut out after being closer, and then you stopped right there.
What was it saying just before that?
I think it should be closer than.
Oh, it should be closer to Spear of Bastion. Because they're throwy attacks.
Yeah, but.
And like it's not even attached to it.
Yeah, but not down more because it's still linked up to Spear of Bastion, kind of.
Yeah,
that's too far down just to get a Stormbolt. Or a modified hero throw.
Yeah, no, I got you that would be way too far down. What I mean is, like, this talent could probably be where Armored to the Teeth is. Or swap that with Honed Reflexes.
Yeah, but then the other guys can't get it.
Yeah, it's really weird where this positioning is. Maybe link the tree again further down. Because, like, it'd be super cool to be, like, a throwy warrior, or throwy prot warrior, and actually have some good, like, a good AoE ability to pull a group with.
Either way, you can start reading the towns now. But
and get some threat on them, yeah. But back to the main goal here. Stormbolt, instant, 20-yard range, 30-second cooldown. Hurls your weapon at an enemy, causing 28.5% attack power, physical damage, and stunning for 4 seconds. Titanic Throw, 8 to 30 yards, so it's further, but has a blind zone. Instant 6-second cooldown. Throws your weapon at an enemy, causing 35% attack power, physical damage, and 5 nearby enemies. It generates high threat. So Titanic Throw works as the pulley thing that I was just talking about.
Yep.
I do still feel like it should be attached to the other spear that you throw in some way. And I feel like Stormbolt needs a buff.
Well, it used to be strong.
Slight buff. Because that 4-second stun is pretty good, but like the other one hits multi-targets and hits harder and more often. That's 3 things that are better.
Well, yeah, the other one's only for CC, and the other one's for just damage and threat generation, kind of.
I mean, like, I guess.
And it has longer range, so you can just use it to keep rogues out of stealth.
Yeah, Titanic Throw is really strong compared to Stormbolt. Is what I'm trying to say. Maybe drop the cooldown on Stormbolt by 5 seconds.
Yeah, we'll see,
I can't remember what Fist of Justice is off the top of my head. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 1 minute. It just has another ability that reduces the cooldown based on your holy power.
Yeah, I gotcha. There we go.
Reduces the cooldown. So.
Unless there's a modifier further down that adjusts this cooldown, and it kind of feels a little underpowered. Just a little bit, though. In the middle, we have Intimidating Shout, which is 8-yard range, instant, 1.5 minute cooldown, menace.
Yeah, that's when it gets modified by protection.
Okay, that one gets modified by protection. Well, then I'll read that now. Causes the targeted enemy and up to 5 additional enemies within 8 yards to cower in fear. Okay. Regular Intimidating Shout causes the targeted enemy to cower in fear and up to 5 additional enemies within 8 yards to flee. Targets are disoriented for 8 seconds.
Oh, so they nerfed Intimidating Shout a bit for the broadside. Before it had no target limit. Before you could fear 30 enemies at once. Now you can only fear up to 10. Yeah, before, like, in Ash...
Nah, dude, it says for the regular one that they have a cap.
Yeah, the regular one has 5. But
yeah.
It says for Menace...
Well, no, I think it's 6. I think it's 6, because it says causes the target to fear and 5 additional. So I think that's 6.
Yeah. Causes the target enemy and up to 5.
And the other one says target enemy and up to 5 additional enemies. Oh, it's the same. To cower in fear. The difference, I think, is the flee.
Yeah, the reason I'm trying to say for the other one is flee. What it does for pry is before pry it knocks them back temporarily, and then it doesn't cause them to flee. It causes them to stand still and cower in fear.
Yeah, which isn't necessarily a nerf.
Yeah, but now I can't fear 30 of them at once. I can only fear 6 of them.
Yeah, it's a nerf in that way, but it's kind of nice not to have them run away.
Yeah. It changes the CC from a fear to a stun, kind of.
Yeah, like a little bit better of a war stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but access. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
interested in this.
yeah,
Because
you'll
that's
see when
another
we get.
shout. We got three shouts, guys. Three.
Yeah, you'll see when we get into season 4 again. But yeah. All right.
Alrighty. We've got Impending Victory versus Piercing Howl. Impending Victory replaces Victory Rush, costs 10 rage, melee range, instant cast, 25-second cooldown, instantly attacks the target, causing 50% of attack power damage and healing you for 40% of maximum health. Killing an enemy that yields experience or honor resets the cooldown of Impending Victory and makes it cost no rage. Piercing Howl. Instant 30-second cooldown. Snares all enemies within 12 yards, reducing their movement speed by 70% for 8 seconds. So
Yes.
I
Once again,
pick. It's kind of weird. You're putting a heal
you can change.
against a CC.
Yeah, it's once again your choice. You can change. You already have a victory rush for 20%. I think it's 20% or 30% heal for a 30-second cooldown. You can get it for 40% for 25-second cooldown, but you can use it anytime. And then or you can get piercing howl for massive movement speed CC for 8 seconds based on that scenario. But yeah, I've always used an impending victory.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Impending Victory. Piercing Howl is kind of.
I'm still running with
It
it. Kind of.
feels like Piercing Howl would be a better choice against Intimidating Shout. If I'm gonna be honest.
Kind of. Yeah.
Like they in essence do the same thing.
Well,
Unless they're
once
trying to
again,
give you access to having both of them. Seems kind of shady to give them that much CC when you've nerfed everybody else's, though.
yeah, but actually, you gotta keep piercing howl and intimidate separate because that's always been there are two separate CCs.
Yeah, okay, they've been. Yeah, okay.
They've always have actually been separate and since they've been introduced like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
So
you
next we've got Thunderclap, which is different for arms, Fury or DPS or
pretty much
Prot.
look the same.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out what is the difference. I don't see one off my initial glance. So it's 25 range, instant cast, blasts all enemy targets within 8 yards for 46.2% of attack power, physical damage, and reduces their movement speed by 20% for 10 seconds. Deals reduced damage beyond 5 targets. They're exactly the same.
Yep.
I'm assuming they're going to change one of them.
Probably. I mean, it could be different based on maybe the talent choice later for Prot, but
Yeah,
other talent modifiers.
but
But yeah,
that's usually stated in the other tree.
yeah, it's not NYI again. So
Yeah. In the middle, we have Cacophonous Roar, which, if I remember correctly, is the ability that the bear uses in Legion, in a Nightmare. Intimidating Shout can withstand 200% more damage before breaking. That's it's pretty cool. How much damage can Intimidating Shout take before breaking? Because it doesn't say that it breaks on damage.
none of the CC say that. So it just depends. I mean, regular fears from Warlock don't say that. Regular no Frost Novas don't say that. So.
I'm pretty sure Frost Nova says it breaks on damage.
Hmm.
But we can double
But
check that later and move on to War Machine right now. War Machine, your auto attacks generate 50% more kill stuff power. Killing an enemy instantly generates 10 kill stuff power and increases your movement speed by 30% for 8 seconds so you can kill stuff faster. I love warriors. All right, we're going to go look over here at this other side where we have Blood and Thunder or Crackling Thunder. I like the Thunder talents. They're pretty cool. So, Blood and Thunder, before I get distracted by the other talents down the tree, increase the damage of Thunderclap by 10%. And whenever you Thunderclap a target affected by your Rend, you also affect 5 nearby with Rend, or targets with Rend. Interesting. Well, that makes Rend a hell of a lot more useful.
Ready to use.
And makes me kind of wonder why the Rend thing isn't attached to this. Man. Okay. On the other side, we have Crushing Force. Damage of. Oh, did I not read? I didn't read the bottom one. Crackling Thunder. Thunderclap's radius is increased by 50%, and its reduced movement speed by an additional 10%. That seems pretty standard, and I actually like the options you have here. Damage or a slow.
Yep.
I think the damage increase might be a little much on Blood and Thunder. With the 10% and? As opposed to just a 50% radius increase and an only 10% slow. Like, maybe buff the slow a little bit. To like 15%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on, we'll take a look over here at the Crushing Force. Damage of Shield Slam and Slam increased by 25%. Okay. You get to slam some stuff. Is Slam still an ability?
Apparently. I didn't see it yet. When I was reading the abilities on the bottom, but.
Alrighty.
Oh, there it is. Level 1.
Oh, okay. So we'll go down here and we'll look at this next. Choose one. One-handed weapon specialization or Dauntless Duelist. Increase leech by 10%. The first enemy you damage in combat is marked as your adversary. You deal 3% more damage to them, and they deal 1.5% less damage to you. You may only have one adversary at a time. That is so cool. How are you going to put that up against 10% leech? Like,
yeah, it's the gladiator skill or having 10% leech to siphon all your shit.
I mean, I'm not going to say I don't feel like it's a good choice or a hard decision because I'm having trouble with it myself right now. Like, if I was a rogue looking at the same talent, I would have trouble with it, but that top one just kind of feels uninspired with how new and cool that bottom one looks to me. Wow. Also, that bottom one could totally be a capstone talent.
But again, the choice between having staying limited to a one-handed specialization is the limiter.
Yeah, yeah, I get you there.
So you have to be a single-minded Fury Warrior, not a Timescript Warrior.
I see where the
So,
themality is, the theme is coming in at. This
so
is
and
this
arms
is
is related
so
to a
good.
warrior. So I prot, yeah. As one-handed Fury, yeah, but as arms and as main Fury, no.
I
So
gotcha.
so as arms, Gladiator would be your choice, anyways.
I bet you a bunch of people are mad at this. I'm not mad at it. I think it's really interesting and
It's definitely a hard choice and a crazy choice, though. But yeah,
man, yeah, like at first glance you're kind of disappointed with it, but as you really think about it,
I think that I looked at it more closely. Yeah,
cuz you're right with
one.
that one-handed.
I looked at it too. I was like, "Ooh, 10% leash," but then I was like, "Oh, I'm stuck with single-minded Fury if that's the case, since I'm a main Fury." But Prot, I'm staying with leech.
Oh man, they're really going to make people pick between or like what weapons they want to use.
Like I said, they made the warrior tree super this time around.
This feels good. I'm liking this. I'm excited for
It's good,
this.
it's hard, and it's actually still fun the way just choosing talents.
Yeah, right? Okay, so next we've got reinforced plates. Increases your armor by 30% of your strength.
So now, what do you think?
Do these like does armored to the teeth and reinforced plates feedback off of each
Okay,
other?
also that goes
Like
up
how
to
does this
60.
interaction work?
So that goes up to 60, by the way. So
I'm just gonna assume it's your base strength and your base armor that are increased. But like
so so yeah, so
I
does
like
how
this
yeah, how does
here.
that interact?
This is good. Maybe this the armor to the teeth isn't in the wrong spot, but
Because reinforced place is prot and you're is on the prot side, and then the
yeah.
other one is strength on the arm side. So or fury, but yeah, arm side.
Yeah, right. All right, moving across to the other side, we've got endurance training. Increase stamina by 5%. Oh yeah, what do those two talents stack up to? Because they're both 2 points.
Okay. And I said the other one's already 60. So
Okay, 60 and then up to 10.
yep.
Alrighty, that feels really uninspired for this late in the tree, although powerful. Don't get me wrong.
Well, 10% stamina overall, and who knows if it's stackable or not. So we'll see.
Yeah, where does that stack? Is it 10% of my maximum or 10% of my base?
Yeah, baseline, or is it overall and you're
If
after all
it's
this stamina?
if it's overall, then I'm super stoked for it. If it's of
Yeah,
my base, I feel like this needs to be in the first rows of
yeah,
talent.
because there's
And
some stuff like that can stack with last stand and all the other stuff, but there's some that only stack based on your current maximum health.
yeah, okay, so we're moving
So
on. Moving
yeah,
on down. Moving on down. We got Avatar.
yep.
Avatar is instant 1.5 minute cooldown. Transform into the coolest colossal for 20 seconds, causing you to deal 20% increased damage and removing all roots. I don't know why it says Colossus. It should say Muradin.
It's Colossus.
Did they change it? Do you not turn into a stone dwarf?
No, you turn it. No, you just turn really big and gray.
Okay, I thought you turned into a stone dwarf before.
No, if you saw my Tarn warrior, you saw him really big and gray,
Oh
bigger than
yeah, okay. But you use all those toys to make your warrior stupid big, so how am
yeah,
I
but then
supposed to know what's what?
I usually made it bigger of Avatar than how it normally is.
Yeah.
Because there's a limit of how big you can get it after the world thing, Wars Ranker.
All right. And then below that we have
2.
Signet of Tormented Kings and Unstoppable Force. Activating Ravager, Bladestorm Recklessness, or Avatar randomly casts one of the other 2 abilities, reduced effectiveness. I like that.
That's
Or
my current legendary warrior.
yeah, right? That shit's dope.
Yeah.
Unstoppable Force. Avatar increases the damage of Thunderclap by 50% and reduces its cooldown by 50%.
He pulled out a Thunderclap. So so you basically turn into a Thunderclapper when you go Avatar.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Heroes of the Storm in Verdun. Anyway, in the middle we got Bitter Immunity. Restores, huh?
That's a new one.
Yeah, right. I don't think I've ever heard of this. 3-minute cooldown, instant, restores 20% health instantly, and removes all disease, poison, cures, curses, and bleeds affecting you. That is real cool.
Removes all debuffs.
Yeah, that's
except
man.
magic effects. Like, I don't remove magic effects, sadly.
Yeah, not magic effects, but curses. That's interesting that it's got curses on there.
Yeah, diseases, poison, curses, and bleeds. Yep.
Implying that curses are. I don't know about curses being on there.
Why?
Because it's immunity and everything else is like, oh, well, like, you don't bleed out as easily and you're immune to diseases and poisons, which all have effects on your body. But curses are like psychological.
Well, you strengthen your mind.
Okay, I guess you can go that way with it.
It improves your mental and physical shape, so who knows?
And then we've got the shockwave. Instant 40-second cooldown. Sends a wave of force in a frontal cone. Frontal. Causing 40% attack power damage and stunning all enemies within it within 10 yards for 2 seconds. Is it 10 yards of the cone, or is the cone 10 yards?
It's the cone.
It's the cone? Within the cone
Yeah.
for 2 seconds. Okay.
Yeah, but within the cone, outwards 10 yards. So
Gotcha.
the cone stretches out 10 yards.
Then we've got Rumbling Earth. When Shockwave strikes at least 3 targets, its cooldown is reduced by 15 seconds. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, these are kind
Like,
of like
I'm
down kind of, I think.
I'm really a big fan of talents that adjust a playstyle. So like with this, like you want to hit multiple targets. So like it's useful and promotes a specific type of gameplay. And I noticed they do this kind of thing sometimes, but not all the time. Like with way back in Cataclysm, with my rogue set on Deathwing, one of my talents gave me a damage buff when I used Tricks of the Trade. So I used Tricks of the Trade a lot when previously I wouldn't. And I know on my warrior I don't use Shockwave as much as I probably should, except to stun. Probably because cooldown's real long.
Yeah, back then it was 4 seconds or 3 seconds, but yeah, now it's only 2.
Yeah, so this is interesting and I like it. Now, for the Piston Resistance, the Fury Tree, which I gotta say, my current warrior is a Fury Warrior, and I haven't played him since the end of Legion, but big weapon, swing fast, happy time. But yeah, instant 3-second cooldown. Oh, I already read this.
Yeah, we
Moving
already
on
know this.
down, siphoning strikes, increase leech by 5%. Okay, the one-handed specializations leech is less impactful now for Prot being so far down the tree. We have leech early.
Yep.
Heroic leap is a talent. Heroic
So,
leap,
yeah.
instant 45-second cooldown, 1 charge, leap through the air toward a target's location, slamming down with destructive forces, deal 23.5% attack power physical damage to all enemies within 8 feet. No, yards. Protection and resets the remaining cooldown on taunt. So, like, I like that, but you're just going to convince the prot paladins to jump up and down in the same spot.
Yeah, Front Warriors.
Like, it's totally going to happen. It's going to be super funny to watch. And I, as a player, I love you. Bunny rabbits.
Oh, yeah.
Furious blows. Damage of Bloodthirst Slam. Oh, we get a second slam thing. Shield Slam and Whirlwind increased by 10%. Okay. Shattering Throw. So every spec gets a throw thing. Okay, I see how it is. Or Bounding Stride. I'm just going to shoehorn this one in. Let's see. 30-yard rain, instant 45-second cooldown, hurls your weapon at the enemy, causing attack power, versatility, physical damage, ignores armor, deals up to demolish 1,000, whatever the hell that means, 500%. Oh, okay, demolition, 500%. So it increases to 1,000%. Increase damage to absorb shields. Bounding strides reduce the cooldown. Heroic leap. And Heroic Leap now increases your run speed by 70% for 3 seconds. Oh my god. What? Yeah, this is totally shoehorned in right here. Oh man, okay, so you take Shattering Throw and you take Titanic Throw and you put those two against each other and you put them somewhere before you're gonna get to Spear of Bastion. I'm just saying, like, maybe move Spear of Bastion to the other side of the tree.
You realize what they did to Shattering Throw, right? But you haven't played a Warrior in a while.
It doesn't appear to break immunities like it did before.
Yep. So no more ice block, no more divine shield breakers.
Yeah.
That's left to the priest again.
Yeah.
Master spells.
Like I love the effort at putting together a throw warrior and giving warriors throwing options, but like,
yes, that's why they reduced it back down to 45-second cooldown now instead of 3 minutes.
I see Dragon Roar down at the bottom here. And I really want to just reorganize the bottom of the tree and then move these throwing talents all to the same place and have them branch off of Avatar. Because now I just want to build Muradin from Heroes of the Storm. Seismic Reverberation. If Whirlwind. or revenge hits. Okay, that makes more sense now. It's like programmers speak right here. If whirlwind or revenge hits 3 or more targets, it hits it hits them one additional time for 50% damage. Why did that break me so hard? Overwhelming rage. Your maximum rage is increased by 30. That is pretty. I'm pretty happy about this being here. It doesn't feel like you stuck more prot trees in the or more prot talents in the fury tree.
And it's all in the one section too, so all the one talents.
Yeah, like they really need to move. I feel like they need to move Berserker Rage and Berserker Shout and possibly War Machine, because those are more Berserky style abilities.
Well, that's why it's still slightly on the Fury side, because they're not on the prod side as much.
Or they could just move Berserker Stance to the middle and shuffle more of the prot stuff to one side. Because at the moment, like I feel like this tree is going to make Arms and Fury Warriors upset, and Prot Warriors very happy.
You'll see.
I'm not totally sure.
You'll see on the first impression videos.
Because I don't totally play one. I don't play these specs. Yeah, right. But like it feels to me this way. Frothing Berserker. Your abilities that cost rage have 20% chance to immediately refund 20% of the rage spent. Alright. Haste, or quick thinking, increase haste by 2%. So you got crit over here and haste on this side.
Yep.
Stamina and armor in the middle.
Yep. Crit, armor, stamina, haste. Which Fury is haste anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, Fury feels good for Fury. It also feels good where it is for Fury. Like as a overall class type thing. Dual wield specialization. Ooh, that's deep down here. Increases your damage. Well, dual wielding by 5%.
Up to 10.
10.
Yep, and that's for all damage. So abilities and auto attacks.
Yeah, okay. Just as long as you have that bad boy in your offhand. And then we've got Thunderous Roar, which I thought was Dragon Roar, but it is not. TBD/WIP. I'm assuming that's what their aura thing is. I'm not even sure. Instant 45-second cooldown. Roar explosively in a 16-yard frontal cone, causing 50% attack power, physical damage, and causing enemies to bleed for 30% of attack power, physical damage over 9 seconds, and that's it. I feel like it lost its dragon title because of the invokers. What do you think? And
yeah, I don't know.
Because like this, I feel like this is the exact same Dragon Roar talent.
Yeah, it's just now it
just renamed.
5 seconds.
Maybe they'll rename or redo the tooltip. Also, we have another shout ability. This brings us up to 5 or 6. And then that moves on down into Thunderous Aftershock. Thunderous Roar knocks enemies down, causes 2 aftershocks that deal 50% of attack power damage, and each aftershock generates 2 additional rage per target hit. That's not bad. So, overall, Devil, what do you think about the tree? And what do other people that play Warriors think about the tree?
Like I said, the tree generally for me looks pretty good in choice nods because you have a lot of variety in choices and you can pretty much get every choice you want here. You can go down to your Karen Spear, you can get Avatar at the same time. The only thing I can't really get to, and I've seen in my builds that I've built so far, was getting bitter immunity. I couldn't get down to all my what builds I made. I couldn't get down to bitter immunity in most of my builds, so I couldn't get the choice to try a new talent out yet.
Yeah, because you got to go down the middle to get there.
Yeah, but I've been able to get Avatar, but I couldn't get down to bitter immunity because of the endurance training and um, reinforced place. Because I can get died by a sword and it goes down to reinforced place, but for some reason I just can't get bitter immunity after that. So
You still got to play with your build.
yeah, so I've been looking around. I had everything I wanted to do. So I
I
built
feel like
now the Fury, but yeah,
overall I like this tree.
I like it
Like
for sure.
it feels far more solid than a lot of the other ones, but the only real issue I have is the talent progression and the way they feel like as you're going down the tree. Like the old school WoW talents, and maybe I'm just misunderstanding the direction, but the old school WoW talents always felt like they had a progression. Like you got Rend, and then the improved Rend, and then you would get the improved crit, and then the thing that improves crit, or like
Hmm.
they felt like they were linked a little bit better. Um, like I think it's real cool that there's a whole bunch of yells in this tree, and I think there's a real cool amount of throwing stuff in the tree. But I feel like those things, like all of the yells, should be reachable from each other because they're all the same type of thing. Where like the throwing thing should be reachable from each other, and not necessarily like in a straight line. Like maybe go down and attach. I don't even want to say thunderclap to Spear of Bastion. But like if I guess if Spear of Bastion is going to be an in cap talent, I feel like the path to get it should have all of the throwing stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, yeah.
Like Avatar.
I mean,
Avatar is a great example. In that tree to
I
get
mean,
to
you can get the
Avatar, you
yeah, I
get
mean, you can get the 2 or 3 of the throws with 1 point. So
yeah, no, I
once you
understand
get
that.
once you get
But
double charge, you can get your
what I'm
big
saying
throws.
is like the physical location of the talents on the tree and how you go down the tree. Like if you
Oh
do in
yeah,
battle stance or whatever, and you want to do Avatar, but you want to build like thematically around being like thundery Avatar, because that's an option down here at the bottom of the tree where you do a bunch of thunderclaps. So like you come over here and you can literally get there to Stormbolt from any of the stances within 3 talent points. And then it moves in a direct line to pick up Thunderclap, Blood and Thunder, or Crackling Thunder, and then you move down the tree, and it gets a little diluted by other stuff because it's a longer tree, and down there you have the in cap talent that's about Thunderclap. Where like with the in cap talent that is a throwing thing, it doesn't feel as direct. And I mean, I know that Spear of Bastion isn't really affected by your other thrown abilities, but it kind of, the game developer in me is sitting uneasy here, going like, this doesn't make sense to me. Like, you should progress this way.
Yeah,
Um,
but
it's
it's
kind of like where the elemental abilities were in the enhanced or the elemental base tree, like
yeah.
or the shaman base tree. Like,
You kind of see how they did it with this one though too. Like all the points are one talent point of the two, and they're not all like not a lot of twos and three talent points as well.
true, there are just like one-off talent points, but like,
Yeah, the only twos are on the bottom really. So
yeah, this tree is really good this way. And I mean, my biggest
so you have a
complaint
lot.
is that you can't throw stuff with all the different throwing abilities easily. And I mean,
Uh,
like that, I really feel like that is also nitpicking. So,
yeah, I mean, if you want to make a throw warrior, you could always do it a different way. You can always build around it.
and in recap, let's do the and moving forward, let's do the out of 10. What do you feel about this tree, Devil? Like out of 10?
I would say definitely for a first start, that would be definitely an 8.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That is a solid 8 out of 10. And like,
Yeah,
if
eight and a
anybody
half, almost 9 even. But yeah,
has heard my out of 10s on these other trees, I've been kind of brutal towards them. Uh,
yeah. Well, mage one was like a 7 or 6, but yeah,
yeah, that's pretty bad. Um,
not enough links.
and that was one of my
But yeah,
more favorite trees, was the mage trees. Um, I am interested to see when we go through the prot tree to compare that heavily against the Paliprot tree, but that'll be later. So we're gonna take a break for a little bit, and then we're gonna go through one of the other warrior trees.
mm-hmm.
So Daftjack, we'll be catching you later.
Yep. See you in a bit.
Like, subscribe, do all that shit.